Welcome back to the Success Study. I'm here at Cactus Outdoor with 3 members of the Keeps family. Cactus has been producing clothes in New Zealand for 30 years. Today we sit down to chat about Cactus's history, changing market conditions, and intergenerational family business. The Success Study is proudly produced by Distinct in conjunction with Business Canterbury. Let's get into it. So if we go back right to the start, how did Cactus start? There was 3 of you, was there?
Gwilym, who was the original founder, he's a climber, tramper, biker. His mum was a textile artist who taught him to sew, and so he started making chalk bags in his bedroom. Rob, one of the other co-founders, he was a postie and he was also a climber and outdoors guy, and he came and got involved, and then I came and got involved. So we talk about the 3 co-founders. There was a bit of a sequence in that. Yeah, it was always about making gear for ourselves and our mates from day one and continues to this day.
What's the unique selling point of your products?
People come to us because they want something that'll actually last. You know, we've built a 33-year history of building and engineering products to survive in, you know, some of the toughest conditions, whether it's on Everest or it's down on the ice in Antarctica or just in the Southern Alps.
Probably the iconic product is our Canvex down jacket. There's general agreement that it is the staunchest down jacket in the world. People that work down in Antarctica, they get given uniforms from other suppliers because there's supply contracts or whatever. Invariably on their way to or from the ice, they call in here to buy one of our Canvex jackets because it is just the epitome. That's probably the sort of quintessence of Cactus, I reckon.
Sorry for interrupting the video. I promise I won't take long, but I thought I should introduce myself. My name's Scott and I'm a young entrepreneur at Distinct right here in Christchurch. I've been lucky to have a lot of great conversations with great business owners. The issue with these conversations is that they never went further than me and them. The idea behind the Success Study was to bring you along and take you into these conversations. The way we've done this is through my business Distinct. Distinct are really passionate about producing content that storytells. It shows a business off online and allows it to attract their target customer. If you're a business owner in Christchurch, I'd love to show you how we can empower your business through content. Get in touch, let's grab a coffee and chat about how we can help your business out. And now, back to the rest of the episode. Intergenerational business. Did you know it was going to be the way moving forward? Was that always the ambition? Did it just happen to come? And then, I guess alongside that, what would be your advice for someone else in your position?
Yeah, well, I mean, the 3 of us that founded Cactus, none of us had kids back then, so you know, we may have had a kind of distant idea that it would happen, but increasingly in the past, you know, like since I've had kids and the other 2 guys have had kids, that has been a thought. You know, we're creating a legacy, and so we take a lot of cues from other amazing intergenerational businesses, you know, far bigger than us, whether it's Louis Vuitton or Hermes or Rolex, or that idea of building something longer term intergenerationally is that appeals. There's always the opportunity for the next generation to come and take over, do something, but there's no obligation for them to do so. So we need to be open to changing up, finding different models, but also prepared to keep it on the family path if that's appropriate.
What's it like going to work for Dad, and what would you give advice for other people in your position?
I mean, it's cool. Like, I wouldn't swap it, obviously. You know, there needs to be boundaries. Dinner time conversations can get a little bit out of hand. But I think the beauty of this, and my one piece of advice to anyone else is if you're aligned, nothing's going to go wrong. You know, we all will be sitting in a meeting, we'll be discussing something, and we'll all come to the same answer. You know, we're all thinking the same thing, and so you know, if you can have that, that's kind of all you need.
It's a beauty and a curse. You've got, like, you're always talking about it, you've always got your Cactus hat on even if you're at home, but the beauty of it is, I guess, rather than having one founder or person trying to push the vision, push the agenda, you've got, in this case, 3 people who are wearing the same hat, doing the same thing, trying to move the needle forward, and so you can kind of move 3 times faster. And
have you always been interested in Cactus and Dad's job when you were growing up?
I mean, we've always been around it. Never really understood what we were doing here and just how incredible it was until after I finished school. You know, I went to school and there were always remember there were people with cactus bags, and there were people who, you know, talked about cactus, and I didn't really have that connection because you didn't really know. And then you come and work here and it's like, oh wow, like this is real. You know, you go to field days or you go to Wanaka and just people come and rave at you about their stories and stuff like that. So the flip side of that is also once you've worked here for a few years, you're in this vortex and you kind of just, you forget how surreal it is. But yeah, I think we've always been destined to come and do something here.
Obviously you manufacture 70% of the clothes and accessories here in Christchurch. What do you think the unique disadvantages are and the unique advantages are of producing most of your stock locally?
I think manufacturing it's really hard, and it's only getting harder, especially in New Zealand. Not only is it the cost involved, but getting machinery, parts, the knowledge, it's just becoming harder and harder and harder. So it's definitely not easy. In terms of advantages, I think being able to kind of dream up an idea and then have the skills and the team here to be able to turn that idea to a product really quickly, compared to kind of not having any control over that process. As an advantage, we can sort of dream up a product, make X number of them, test them in the market, adapt it, change it, and that understanding of how the product goes together means that the end result, the final product, is probably going to be better than what it could have been otherwise.
And I'd frame the question slightly differently, which is because we're all about sort of product engineering, right? And so we engineer all of our products here. Where they're actually made, where components are made, is a separate conversation. But I think the thing that differentiates us from most of the other companies out there is that we maintain that sort of engineering pedigree. Like Omri said, having an ability to make stuff here, whether it's prototypes or samples or short run, is part of our engineering DNA, as separate from sort of bulk supply, I guess. Because of the sort of organisation we are, because we have a manufacturing facility, because we have that engineering ability, we can then take 32 years of learning and engineer that into products that are more accessible. And you can always go kind of down the not the value chain, but down the sort of price accessibility chain. It's very hard for other companies to make the best down jacket in the world because they're all about price point and lower quality. So that's a really interesting kind of interplay.
How do you think Cactus is going to, I suppose, respond to changes in the market conditions, but then also continue to grow as a business?
Looking at it from sort of a supply perspective, we've introduced a hybrid sourcing model, making some stuff overseas. That was one of the biggest changes that I think really has unlocked, I guess, our potential. Manufacturing solely in New Zealand was a wonderful thing to do, but limited us in terms of ability to scale and a number of people we could touch, essentially. So I think from a supply perspective, it's doing what we're currently doing and doing quite well more, essentially.
I mean, New Zealand's a small place, so I think in 30 years, I'd hope that we weren't still in New Zealand. We weren't just still, beating around the bush here in New Zealand. So I think that's one of the beauties of, I guess, a bit of the younger blood coming through, is that there is an ambition to build something. What that looks like, we're not entirely sure, but look, the dream is that there's people all around the world who use our products.
New Zealand's got a great image internationally, and so exporting that image we have here in New Zealand that I don't think we really value enough in ourselves on the wider scale, I think will go quite well. We live in a pretty surreal climate with some pretty tough conditions, and here we are manufacturing garments and have been for 32 years. So at an international scale, there's not many stories like that, so that's exciting.